Hello everyone and welcome. So today I got in my hands 1.5 piece of GTX 295 Revision 1 Watercooled. It's in sketchy condition, I would say. I can see right away there are no thermal pads over there. But, you know, they were coming for parts, so no complaints. And over there I can see there are some dark residue or PCB burn. The another piece looks like that. So it's EVGA style card with pretty cool water block. And there was a PCB coming with the second piece, which says GT29400B3, and it came from 2009. So we're gonna take a look. I'm gonna plug them in my test bench and try to figure out what's wrong with them, or what's not wrong with them. So first thing first, I'm gonna grab non-working GTS 8800 GTS just to make sure that my test bench is fine. Yeah, it's still messy. The leg of my monitor is somewhere in the unknown place. Still need to unpack a bunch of stuff, but yeah, let's power it on, make sure that it's still operational, and then I'm gonna test both of these 295s, but I doubt they're gonna work. I mean, looks like they were assembled just as is, because probably it was laying and taking a bunch of space, so someone just, you know, put them together and like, okay, time to toss them away. So yeah, test bench still works. Now it's time to power on one of those monsters. So I'm gonna start with the assembled one, or somewhat assembled. And I know that on 295s or even on 9800 GX2, there is a known issue that those cards doesn't like to post from HDMI. So I'm gonna connect those to DVI1 right away and see. That's gonna be the best way to try to power it on. So DVI 1, and yeah, all of this is like wanky. You can see it's like these boards are not screwed properly and all kind of things. I don't want to keep them powered on for long without the thermal pads, especially on something like on NVIO. VRM, at least on GPU2, is heating. PCB under GPU, there is not too much going on, but yeah. Keyboard's already red, but no video output from the card. Just to be fair, I'm gonna try the second DVI. As for the second card, I mean, I can plug half of the card, but I don't think it's gonna be a great idea. First thing first, I'm gonna start with this one, because at least it looks somewhat, you know, assembled, functional. Yeah, again, keyboard is red, but card doesn't post. I also can smell something, but yeah, let me relocate, remove the cards, relocate on the table, and we'll continue from there. All right, so let's take a closer look on this card. Everything which I mentioned. So over here, let me grab some plastic tool to show. So over here there are some suspicious dark spots. We have some extra rubbery feet. Then, yes, it's not screwed properly. Over there, as I already mentioned, we are missing thermal pads all over the place. Hopefully the GPU chips are not cracked. And then, oh, I may know what's going on. I was like, why this one looks too thick? Looks like there are two. Yep, it just feels like it's glued or something. What the hell? No, actually, it's not glued. Who and why gonna do that thing? Look at that. What was the purpose? Like, come on. That one actually feels like it's from completely different card. For sure, it even doesn't match the pattern over there. For GPU, yes, but the rest of stuff, it feels like it's from completely different card. What the hell it was doing over there, and especially there's no like thermal paths or anything, so there's even not a thermal conductivity reason for it to exist. So that's, I would say it's already giving me too much questions. So after certain testing, I found a couple of PCBs which are working. One of them is this one from 2009 B3, and another one right now sits on my test bench. So I'm gonna clean up the mess. I'm gonna pre-install it on the water block. Just as a quick note, I see that PCB gets bent a lot of, and I don't like it. So I'm actually gonna get to the original screws, which are spring-loaded. So that's the card which I recently assembled. And as I mentioned earlier, I have another second PCB from 295. I had 295 with faulty first PCB, like everything is shorted, GF, not GF, but NF200 completely burned, bubbled, but it had a second PCB which looked promising. I just tested that, and that one posted with this card. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble them now, and we'll see. I don't know I assume it was either Asus or XFX. I don't actually recall. that's our 295 with water block. I put some fittings over there. Still this red card with extra pads. So let's quickly test it. And yeah, I did a little bit of improvements. I swapped the screws with those spring-loaded because others were sketchy and questionable. And I also put some extra washers. So because I saw that PCB was squished over the water block, which I didn't like. So time to power it on and see if it's still working as expected. I hate those 6 and 8 pin connectors pointed one to another one. Really, really not comfy to remove them. I mean, it has a water block, so it shouldn't overheat like right away or anything. And then, if everything is fine, I'm gonna grab the quick disconnects. And power on the card. And we're gonna do a little bit of, testing and benchmarking. But first thing first, need to make sure that the card is still running. So green LED over here is present. And yep, card does post. So that's good. I mean, I probably can even try to boot it in Windows. I don't have any disks, but anyways, I'm gonna connect it to the water and we'll be back in a moment. So I attached the tubing through the quick disconnect. There is no water flow right now. There is no water in tubes because I just connected them, putting fan for cooling the north bridge. And yeah, firing. Standard graphics adapter and 3D video controller. I'm gonna go ahead, reboot, DDU, install drivers, and then gonna be back. So the server is up. I clean up the previous drivers, install fresh one. Better to say previous was AMD drivers, which there is no use of them on NVIDIA 295 or any NVIDIA. So now we can go ahead and do a little bit of testing. So we see GTX295 recognized over there. And I'm gonna run Afterburner for our monitoring. So we can see this one says Asus because one of the board is mine. However, it has a proper BIOS now. It says SLI enabled 2 GPUs. The second one says NVIDIA. That's probably the reference PCB, which was from this card originally, or maybe Asus was was also from there. I don't know, but yeah, PCIe 16, both of the cards, device ID are pretty messed up. I may change, the VBIOS to make this card matches, but we have 40C on one and 37 on another one. So I would say relatively good temperature. We have even some current reporting, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that those cards does that. And I have SLI enabled, multi-GPU running, so time to run some benchmarking. And I mean, I probably can run 3D06. I don't see a problem with that. I mean, I don't think there are a lot of use, but hey, 3D06 Vantage 11 doesn't make sense because this GPU doesn't support 11. And then, oh, that was a nasty coil line. So we got 26K. Again, this result is not relevant. I'm gonna take a look. Maybe I can select a different preset. And if so, that's gonna be another thing cool to test. All right, time to run 3D Mark Vantage. And over here, at least, there are presets. So I'm gonna run it in performance. On 3D06, unfortunately, there are no presets. So I'm just gonna run on default. So we got 17, almost 18K in 3D Mark Vantage performance, 4740 FPS. Then CPU is fine, and then feature tests also fine. So yeah, let me save that. As the next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and run Heaven Benchmark. That one probably gonna take all of the juice from this 295. So I'm just gonna select like basic and then customize it and do it full screen. Just to be fair, when I'm gonna compare someday it with AMD or ATI cards, and Crossfire doesn't work if you are not using full screen. So that's the main reason why. But yeah, you can see the utilization, like GPU usage, 99%, temperature 47 and 44, like absolutely amazing. So we also got our Heaven benchmark result, 2100, decent score, average FPS 83. That's a good one. So after decent testing and overclocking, I found something stable, which is 705 by 1300. I mean, even if I move to 708 with like 1000 on the memory, the card gets unstable in like Heaven benchmark 3D06. Fun fact, it can pass 3D Mark Vantage even on like 725, 730 and like 1150 on memory. But yeah, in real application games, the card gets unstable. But yeah, you can see we get like 36C on one card and 39C on another one, which is completely fine. But yeah, let's go ahead and run 3D06 and see how this one goes.
as you can see, I got 27, almost 27k points, so I'm gonna pause it, save it, and I'm gonna get back. Now we're gonna go ahead and run the Vantage, which surprisingly is less peaky than 3D06 or Heaven. $21,416. Alright, time to fire up Heaven benchmark. Again, basic, custom, full screen. $2,500 in Heaven and 100 FPS, which is, a decent result. So as for performance comparison before and after overclocking, in 3D06 we almost get only 2%, which is expected because we've seen most of the time GPU utilization was way below 100, even way below 80%. So it just, aged benchmark and probably with some custom settings, high anti-aliasing and other kind of settings that may give us anything but, since 3D06 doesn't have any default presets other than just whatever it is. So I was running it as is. In 3D Mark Vantage, we actually got a decent performance uplift, which is 20-47%, so 20% in total. That's actually a great overclocking potential, and you're not gonna see that in modern GPUs. Also going to Heaven benchmark, the performance uplift is even a little bit higher, it's 2055, but let's just say that it's 20%. It's still a lot of. So yeah, you can see how old GPUs were, like how much potential old GPUs had for overclocking if you have a decent silicon, somewhat cooling. And speaking of cooling, I actually really surprised in a good way how this water block performs, and like how in general 295 performs under the water cooling. On air cooling, it gets like really hot. It goes beyond like 85°C. The fan is like really noisy. With water cooling, I haven't seen it even go like beyond like 50°C or 50 something. It's really cool, especially considering this card is like what, 25 years old, even more. And it has a heat spreader, so it means under the heat spreader it still has the original thermal paste, which probably got degraded over years, but it still shows us really good numbers from the cooling perspective. Again, all of this is being run on one 360 Slim radiator in couple with first gen i7 990X overclocked to like 4.4 gigahertz, which generates like 250 watts of heat. So yeah, I'm impressed with that result, and I'm more than happy that I got this water block on my hands to put on my GPUs. Thank you everyone, and stay tuned.